This is Mr. Trotter. Welcome to Thursday's lesson. Today we're going to be talking about least common multiples. So our objective is to make sure that you guys are able to figure out what least common multiples are and how to use them. So starting with least common multiples, the most important word in this is multiples. So when people sometimes see GCF and LCM, they get them confused. The M is short for multiple and least common multiple, and F in greatest common factor. We're dealing with factors, so two different things. Multiples are a lot easier to work with, and as you can see on the right, we have the calculator here, so we're going to be using that today. So let's start off with finding the multiples of 2. Now to find the multiples of 2, I want to start off with writing out 2, and then I want to write the first number we have is going to be a 2. And if I add another 2 to that, I will get 4. And if I add another 2 to that, I will get 6. And if I add another 2 to that, I will get 8. If I add another 2, I will get 10. And if I add another 2, I'll get 12. So you're seeing the pattern here. Now, if you're having difficulty with this, hopefully you're not, because these are our low numbers. We're going to work with some higher ones today. You can use a calculator for that. So if I go over to the calculator, if I'm using the number 2, I can start by putting in a 2 plus 2, and I end up getting 2 plus 2, and I get a 4. If you use your calculator, the next step you can do is put in plus 2 again. So I'm just going to put in plus 2, and now when I hit the equals button, I will get an answer of 6. And if I hit the equals button again, I will get an 8, 10, 12. And I'm just hitting the equals button over and over again, and it will do all the counting for me every time I hit equals. So once again, the steps there are going to be to put in 2 plus 2, because I'm doubling that number. If I had 3, I would be doing 3 plus 3. So I have 2 plus 2, I hit enter, I have a 4. And then I'm going to put in plus 2. That's that, plus 2. No other numbers, not clearing anything, plus 2, hit enter, and I get the 6. And I get the 8, and the 10, and the 12. It just keeps counting for me. So now that I have got all those multiples written down, let's go over to find my multiples of 5. So I'm going to work with 5 now, and I'm going to do the same thing. And if I take 5, start there, 5, if I double it, I now have 10. And if I add another 5 to that, I'll get 15. And if I add another 5 to that, I will get 20. And I can keep going on and on and on if I want. I'm looking now for the common multiples. So let's see, pen does not want to work for me here. So I'm looking for common multiples. And of all the multiples I find, I want the least one, the smallest one. So if I'm looking over here at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I look over here 5, 10, 15, 20, I'm looking for the numbers they have in common. And hopefully you've realized the numbers they have in common are going to be 10. They don't have 2's in common, they don't have 4's in common, 6's, 8's, 12's, 10. If I kept counting over here, eventually I would get to a 20. So these would be in common as well, but we want the least common multiple. In that case, it's going to be a 10 for each of these. So in your answers, when it's going to say, what is the LCM is going to be 10. Okay, let's try another example. Now is to find the least common multiple of 10 and 4. So I'm going to start over and write down that I have 10. I'll put that over in blue. This wants to work for me. So I've got my 10 here, and I'm going to write it down first 10. If I take another 10 to that, I will get 20. If I have another 10, I will get 30. Another 10, I will get 40. And I can do these in my head, but if you need to, you can go and use that calculator, and you're going to put in the 10 plus, we're going to add another 10 to it, and hit enter, or equals. I'm just going to leave what's exactly on the calculator screen and hit plus 10 again, and hit equals, and I'll get 30. Another equals, I get 40, and I can keep counting for me, 50, 60, 70, 80. And we're not going to have to go that high necessary for this, but if we needed to, it's there. So now if I go back over to the screen, and I have a 4 is the next number I'm working with. So let's start writing down all the multiples of 4. Now it helps us sometimes if we do the larger numbers first, because then as soon as I have a match on the lower numbers, it should pop right into it. So let's see, if I start over with a 4, the first number is a 4, and if I double 4 again, I will get an 8. Then if I add another 4 to that, I will get a 12. If I add another 4, I will get 16. And if I add another 4, I will get 20. And I'm going to stop there because I already have a match. I have two numbers that are in common. There's no numbers that come below 20, so my LCM in this case is going to be 20. All right, let's try another example together, and then I'll have you try some on your own. So we're looking for the LCM of 15 and 9. Now 15 and 9, those are some larger numbers, so we're going to rely on the calculator for that. So let's start off by writing down my 15. And I'll put this over in blue again. So with 15, my first number is going to be 15. And let's go to the calculator here. If I put in 15 plus another 15, I get an answer of 30. So I'm going to write that down. I don't know why it's switching over with that. So 30, and if I do plus 15 again, I get an answer of 45. So I can put in a 45 as my next number. Comma, let's go back to the calculator, hit enter one more time for equals. I get a 60 as my next number. So I can put that down, 60. Let's go to the calculator and do it one more time. Equals, I get 75. So I can write that number down. See, this is nice because the calculator is doing most of the work for us. So now I have to start working with the 9s. So I'm going to write down 9. First number is a 9. Now if I go to the calculator, I'm going to put in 9 plus 9 and hit equals. And I get an answer of 18. So I put 18 in here. And now I'm looking for it to match one of these numbers over here. So what I'm going to do on the calculator is I'm going to let it do all the work for me. I'm just going to say I have that 18 in there. So if I do a plus 9 and hit enter, equals, I'll get a 27. I'm looking for a match somewhere over in these blue numbers. So 27 doesn't match anything. If I hit equals again, I have a 36. 36 does not match anything over here either. 45 is my first match. So if I were to keep counting over here, the numbers, you don't have to write any of these down here, but I would have had that 27, and I would have the 36, and the next number would have been a 45, which is what the calculator told us. So 45 is our first match, so that is the least of the common multiples that it has. So our LCM in this case, our answer would be 45. So I'd like you to try one on your own. So let's go over to this one here. So why don't you try this one on your own and write down what the least common multiple of 3 and 10 is now. All right, let's start going over that. So you should have written down 3, and if we have the common multiples, the multiples of 3 would be 3, and if I add another 3 to it, I get 6, 9, 12, and if I'm not sure, I can keep counting over and over and over and over. If I get 15, you should have been using the calculator here, 18, 21, 24, 27, over 30, 33, and 36. I'll stop over there. Now if I'm working with my multiples of 10, this is a little bit easier to count, and again, you can use a calculator for this, but I'd have 10, 20, 30, 40. Now when I start looking for common multiples here, I mentioned in the last problem, if we start with the larger the numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40, I'm looking for any matches that have 10, I don't. Any matches with 20, I don't. Any matches with 30, I do. So 30 is the first common multiple we have. So 30 is going to be our LCM. So hopefully you had that answer. Okay, we have one more problem to try, and then we are done for today. That least common multiples of 5 and 15. So why don't you try that one now. All right, and now that we're back, I'm going to start with my biggest number first. And I'm going to start counting over 15. The first number in my multiple is going to be 15. If I double that, I should have had 30. You need to add 15 to that again, you get 45. And another 15 to that, and we get 60. Now if I'm using the calculator, again, I'm putting in 15 plus that first 15, hit enter, I have 30. I then just have to hit in plus 15 equals, and I have 45. If I equals again, I get 60. And I can keep going that list on 75, 90, 105, and keep going on there. So now I've got all those numbers. I'm going to work with the last number, and it's the smaller of the two. It's going to be my 5, and that's going to be in red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all in the calculator and have it see if it matches up with any of these numbers. So if I'm in the calculator, I'm going to put in 5. I'm going to add 5 to it, and hit enter, and that gives me a number of 10. So I can even write that down. I'm then going to put in plus 5 one more time, and now I'm at the point where I can just keep hitting equals over and over again. So I hit equals, and I get a 15. And what do you know? 15 and 15, that's going to be our least common multiple. But if I take a look at the calculator and I keep hitting equals over and over again, I get 20. 20 doesn't match. 25 doesn't match. But 30 does match. 35, 40, 45, that also matches. 50, 55, 60 also matches. So I'm going to find a lot of matches. But the point is, when we're doing all this, that we want the least common multiple, which is always the very first one we come across. So this in case it's 15. And sometimes it's nice because if you have a smaller number, it can sometimes go into it. So the least common multiple can actually be the larger of the two numbers. So you may see one or two of those on the assignment you have today. So again, our LCM for this problem is going to be 15. So these problems weren't too difficult. Hopefully you guys got those all taken care of. You have a short assignment due today. The key word for today's assignment, so I know that you watched the video, is rake. So make sure you enter that word in, and then you'll be all set. We got a short review again tomorrow on Friday. Make sure you're getting that done, getting it turned in, take a photo of it. If you have questions, find me on Zoom office hours, or make sure that you're sending me a message on Schoology. If not, I will see you guys on Monday. Review tomorrow. Bye-bye.